wisdom,
prudentia,
justice,
justitia,
temperance,
temperantia,
courage.
fortitudo.
Applying ancient philosophy to modern life, this is the Sunday Stoic.
Welcome to the Sunday Stoic Podcast, a podcast about ancient philosophy and its application in modern life. My name is Steve, and I am the host of the show. As you may or may not know, I started looking into this philosophy shortly after my son was born as a way to try to gain some control, if you will. I felt like exciting things were happening, but I wanted to ensure that I was enjoying life and I was being the best dad I could be and the best husband I could be and not being pushed around by the chances of fortune and fate. Now, I'm not claiming I've reached that point yet, but at least I'm more aware of it now, and I hope you will grow along with me. You can check out the back catalog of shows or send me an email if you have any questions. This week, I'm going to talk a little bit about opinion, not the opinions of others, which we know have no real bearing on us, but our own internal opinions. We're going to hear from the three major late Stoics today and hear a bit about what they have to say. The way I got into this episode was I was reading Seneca's essay translated as On or Of Leisure. I thought, wow, that's weird, a Stoic essay about leisure. And I think I might do a follow-up episode on that soon, kind of building on this one, because the idea is we need, from Seneca anyway, is that we need to get away from people if we can. It really helps anyway, to get away from people, to unplug, and to start thinking about philosophy deeply in a way that you can't do if you're constantly interrupted. And you don't hear that as much from the other Stoics, maybe a little bit, but not as much. Like, Marcus Aurelius probably never had a moment to himself. So he had the inner citadel he was relying on. But Seneca likes to try to keep to himself when he can, read, write, think about things. And the real issue here is that we hear about all of this philosophy, and we have opinions about things, everything from the nature of God to the nature of good, right? And what we want to buy off of Amazon and who we think is attractive, and all these sorts of things are all opinions that we have, some based on some evidence and some just pure opinion. But what we need to do is think about these things and make sure that our philosophy of life and our opinions are all kind of aligned, that they're harmonious, and that we are pretty well fixed in our opinions. Not that we can't change opinions based on evidence, but that our opinions don't just fluctuate wildly, whichever way the wind blows, or based on what documentary we just watched or whatever. We need to have opinions that we truly believe in before we go out into the world and try to talk philosophy with others. The Discourses of Epictetus, number 16. Is there any man among us prepared, like a lute player, when he takes a lute, so that as soon as he has touched the strings, he discovers which are discordant and tunes the instrument? Such a power as Socrates, who had in all his social intercourse could lead his companions to his own purpose. You do not have this power. It is therefore a necessary consequence that you are carried about by the common kind of people. Why then are they more powerful than you? Because they utter these useless words from their real opinions, but you utter your elegant words only from your lips. For this reason they are without strength and dead, and it is nauseous to listen to your exhortations and your miserable virtue, which is talked out of everywhere, up and down. In this way the vulgar have the advantage over you, for every opinion is strong and invincible. Until good sentiments are fixed in you, and you shall have acquired a certain power for your security, I advise you to be careful in your association with common persons. If not, whatever you inscribe in your mind will be melted away like hot wax in the sun. Withdraw then yourselves far from the sun, so long as you have these waxen sentiments. On Leisure by Seneca. Indeed, the worst of our various ills is that we change our very vices, and so we have not even the advantage of dealing with a well-known form of evil. We take pleasure first in one and then in the other, and are besides troubled by the fact that our opinions are not only wrong, but lightly formed. We toss, as it were, on waves, and clutch at one thing after another. We let go what we just now sought for, and strive to recover what we have let go. We oscillate between desire and remorse, for we depend entirely upon the opinions of others, and it is that which many people praise and seek after, not which deserve to be praised and sought after, which we consider best. The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 8, number 40. It is opinion which gives being to misfortune. Do not fancy yourself hurt, and nothing can touch you. But what is this you? It is your reason. But I am not all reason. Very well, but do not let reason grow uneasy, and if any other part of you is in trouble, let it keep its concerns to itself. And now for some beautiful music. That was discordant. Epictetus warns us that unless we can recognize discordant opinions in our own minds, we cannot be good philosophers. Our opinions need to be harmonious, like the strings of a musical instrument, and we can't progress forward until we can root out our discordant opinions. We cannot praise reason and declare it to be the seat of our governance of our view of the world, and at the same time hold on to silly, illogical notions. Discordant opinions need to be retuned like a guitar string. And until we can recognize these discordant sounds, these discordant opinions, and tune them into reality, then we need to not associate with the masses, as Epictetus says, because we are not like Socrates yet. Socrates had kind of a harmonious way of being. He understood philosophy and he believed in it fully. And so he knew that he believed what he was saying. They were not empty words. They were real to him. So if he would say, if a philosopher who knows what they're talking about says that virtue is the only good, they mean it. It's not just lip service. So the trouble here is we will be led around the streets like a bull with a ring in his nose by the opinions of others because they believe in their opinions. If we are out there putting forth opinions that we don't quite fully believe in yet, and we can't fully articulate yet, we won't be able to convince or lead anyone, but we ourselves will be led. So Epictetus suggests we do not associate with non-philosophers until our opinions are set in stone instead of wax. Now, Seneca complains that one issue we have is our opinions change all the time. He says even our vices change all the time. We can't even get used to a particular vice so we can overcome it because we change those on a regular basis. Seneca is a big fan of constancy, right? And, sailing towards a port and not veering off a direction, but you have to know where you're going. And he's saying that our opinions are not well founded. They're just lightly formed. So even when we do have opinions and we're trying to talk to someone about them, they're pretty shallow opinions and they're transient. They can be overridden and changed by the masses as well. We will change our minds very quickly. So we need to fix our course in life, figure out where we stand, and try to avoid being tossed around by the winds of life. We have to kind of get away from it all, if you will, if possible, and really think about what it is you truly have opinions on and why. Make sure that reason is your guide. And then, like Marcus Aurelius says, once we firmly have reason set in her seat, as it were, then we are in essence invincible. No one can harm us because the troubles of life will truly be indifferent to us. once we are fully convinced of that. So if we can take our opinions and ensure they're in harmony with reality and in harmony with our philosophy, and we throw out things we don't believe in, and we truly figure out who we are top to bottom, then we can live harmoniously. And we'll live a good life. Have a good week. Carpe diem. And before we go, I want to thank Kelly and Mark for joining me on Patreon. Excellent individuals like Kelly and Mark make this show possible. You can help out by going to www.patreon.com/SundayStoic, or just to make a one-time donation on PayPal using my email address, sundaystoic@gmail.com. But you know what? Instead of helping out the show this week, I suggest you donate to the Australian Red Cross. There will be a link in the show description.
Thank you for listening to The Sunday Stoic. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, rate, and review The Sunday Stoic on iTunes. Become a member of the Sunday Stoic team, earn rewards, and be an integral part of the show by becoming a patron at www.patreon.com/SundayStoic. Contact the show by emailing sundaystoic@gmail.com or by leaving a voicemail at 501-503-3132. To find out more, visit www.sundaystoicpodcast.com. And as Steve always says, carpe diem.